JJK or Demon Slayer Invincible? Demon Slayer's kind of poop from a butt. And unfortunately, I can't take Invincible seriously because they don't take the field of animation seriously. They don't believe in animation. Like, the only reason, like, the people making decisions on how to prioritize their budgeting and planning for Invincible don't believe that animation is a serious artistic medium. They're just using it as a convenient way of adapting a comic where you can maintain the art style. They really do not believe in that shit. Everything that makes Invincible good is just a, like, adaptation directly from the manga. They're not trying to elevate it at all. Well, some of the writing decisions were good, like in season 1, the decision to draw out, Omni-Man's, you get it. Sorry, not manga, comic, you know what I mean. Manga just means comic, fuck you. But yeah, no, they don't believe in the artistic medium. No respect for it. Help me, my fucking animation budget is dying, spending $6.8 billion on celebrity voice actors and $5 on the animation. Debbie seems to have a much more interesting character in the adaptation. I agree. The good decision-making is being made by writers. The good adaptational choices are being made by writers, but no interesting choices are being made by the animators. They're not being allowed to. Like, I mean, to go back to the previous comparison, take a look at how much Mappa is elevating Jujutsu Kaisen with their animation and compare that to what Invincible is doing. Like, it's ridiculous. It's insane. The people at Mappa are locking the fuck in and using the unique benefits of the medium to do magical things to the source material. Whereas with Invincible, they're just like, well, we have to animate this, you know. We got to do it. What's the work-life balance like at Mappa? Not good, but that doesn't excuse the folks adapting Invincible for their terrible fucking animation work. It's not the animators themselves that are the problem. It's the direction and the budget. Demon Slayer was asked, but JJK is good. Yeah. So did you stop watching it? Invincible? Yes. Like 2 seasons ago. But I read the whole comic a while ago. I can't watch JJK. I dropped it season 1 because it was 1-to-1 Naruto, but again, what the fuck are you talking about? How the fuck is it not? Because you have a peppy main character and the side male character friend is like a Sasuke type? What are you talking about? It's fine. We don't need... It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It doesn't... Demon Slayer animation is good, though. It's not that Demon Slayer's animation is bad. It's that it makes uninteresting animation decisions. It makes bad creative decisions. I think it's very pretty, but it's pretty like a lava lamp. You know, I think a good example would be like people say Demon Slayer is very pretty, which it often is, but you should compare Demon Slayer to something like Ping Pong, the animation. You know what I mean? Like, take a look at what good animation looks like when you're not relying on like post-processing or flashy, digital effects, and are rather just focusing on the raw meat of the animation, and you can get some really magical stuff. Real magical stuff. Is JJK not just like the latest generic shonen that got popular because anime fans have no taste? I don't know what to do with you people, okay? I don't think the manga is that good, but the animators at MAPPA are doing like phenomenal work, okay? Animation is an artistic medium. Even if the only framing device narratively for the conflict is shonen whatevers, the decisions you make to frame that can be, artistically genius, you know? It's like, if you think that the only purpose of an anime, or the only thing that legitimizes an anime is it having some fancy pants, highfalutin story, then you don't really believe in animation, right? You just want a book with moving pictures. Animation itself can be the desirable medium, much in the same way that a game can be phenomenal even if it has no story. It depends on what you focus on, how well you're committing to what you want to do. What are your intentions, you know? Anyway, we don't need to do this. The writing is the important part to me, but TBH, in the same way I can play an ugly game if the systems are compelling. Okay, do you think you could enjoy a video game that has no story but instead is like excellent gameplay? Like there's no focus really put on the narrative, but rather it's just the experience of playing the game as a constant escalating challenge that keeps you at your limit, is very fun and satisfying? 100% yes? Well, then there you go. A non-narrative, not really? Okay, then you have different priorities. That's fine. Whatever you want. Balatro? No, Balatro's a bad game because it has a bad story. That's not comparable to good animation with no story, IMO? Yes, it is. Okay. You guys know that, like, many of the Ghibli films that you've watched and enjoyed as youth have basically no story, right? Like, you can go and watch My Neighbor Totoro or Kiki's Delivery Service. Many times the narrative is borderline non-existent. It's meant like the artistic package that's being provided to you is not primarily a narrative one, but a sensory one. And there's nothing wrong with that. Isn't Kiki's a coming-of-age story? Yeah, it's a Ghibli film. They're all like that. No, there's narrative too? Oh my fucking god. I said it's not a narrative focus. I didn't say there's no narrative. I'll take TBH? Not even... What are you... Guys, you have to listen to the words I say, not the words you're imagining I'm saying. What the fuck? Are you... some of you seem to be operating under the assumption that I said there is no narrative. The Kiki's Delivery Service. What I'm saying is the primary experience is a sensory one, and this is true. You really think that the hook for Kiki's Delivery Service is the narrative? Come on. There's a narrative focus. Kiki, you're stupid. Oh, God. Oh, no, it's happening again. They think it's a criticism. They think it's a... Oh, fuck. The primary... Guys, the narrative for Kiki's Delivery Service could be communicated in like a 4-page book. It's not... The narrative and the writing are not the primary elements. It's not what you remember. You remember the emotions, the experience, the swelling music, the feeling you get from the animation, the way it conveys the characters and the comfort and the... Like, that's the thing you remember. That's what you feel. Do you hate Studio Ghibli? No. I love them. I'm going to lose my mind. People don't understand you can critique something you like. But I'm not critiquing it! That's fine! Hey, Dark Souls doesn't have much of a story. You still enjoy playing that. It's mostly about the immersion and the gameplay experience. Oh, it's got a bad story. Well, it's not really focusing on that. Yes, it does, you absolute. I'm okay, genuinely, you have not matured enough to have this conversation. The Dark Souls games have basically no story. They have an environment. They have world building. They have no story. Nobody fucking plays Dark Souls through and follows the story. They literally don't give you enough information to follow the story when you play it through. They have lore. That's different. That's for you to watch YouTube videos about afterwards. This isn't a criticism. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't want there to be a story in Dark Souls. Dark Souls would not have been improved if every 30 minutes you got stopped by a 4-minute cutscene where people explain the world and what you're doing. It's not supposed to have a dominant story. The story is you're the chosen undead and you wreak havoc across the ruined remains of Lordran. That's the story. It's not much of one. It's not that interesting. If it was read to you in a book, you wouldn't really care for it. The chosen undead woke up. A bird carried them to the Firelink Shrine. The chosen undead walked in one direction and then different, killing lots of people. The people the chosen undead killed often were important, but not anymore. Then they killed Gwyn. Wow, phenomenal stuff, really. Kept dying a lot, but kept getting up, because no one can die for real because of the link to the flame and the dark sign. This is what made Sekiro different. Yeah, Sekiro actually has a story. It's one of the things that distinguishes it from Dark Souls, Elden Ring, Demon Souls. It's not a criticism. I just rewatched Kiki's for the first time in over a decade. You're 100% right. I was shocked at how thin the actual narrative was. Doesn't detract from the quality of the movie? No, of course not, because that's not the point. So likewise, when I say that Studio Mappa has made a masterpiece out of Season 3 of Jujutsu Kaisen, it's not because the story is super duper in deep or whatever. It's that they took a narrative framework and they used the medium of animation to make something really incredible from it. That's art. 20,000 viewers gone. The entire movie is about the story of refining her confidence as a witch and getting her powers back. Okay, I know. Oh, I didn't realize that. I must have watched it on mute. As a theme? No, it's a narrative, but it's not the focus of the narrative. I don't... Oh, or sorry, it's not the focus of the art. The focus of the art isn't the narrative. You guys understand that different pieces of art focus on different things, right? Like, some pieces of art might focus more on a story or a narrative, and sometimes it might be more of a tone piece. Like, you know how Cyberpunk 2077 was less narratively focused than it was a tone piece? Like, the point of watching Cyberpunk 2077 is not the literal textual outcomes, but rather the feeling that you get as you engage with it. That was common. That's common. Like, movies are an audio-visual art. It doesn't have to all be narrative. The point of watching everything that you watch isn't the narrative. You know that, right? It doesn't have to be. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. Sorry, Blade Runner, not Cyberpunk 2077. Not Cyberpunk 2077, Blade Runner Blade Runner 2076. Sorry, the other thing. The other one. 2049, 2046, whatever. The other number, 2067. You mix those two up. Well, they're both cyberpunk, and they both have a date in the late 21st century. So, you don't like the same things the same way I do, Ree. I literally have been criticizing. Like, people are like actually treating it as a criticism. Like, hey, did you know that My Neighbor Totoro isn't narratively focused? Oh, you must hate it. What are you talking about? People who say it doesn't matter that the story is bad rarely say it doesn't matter the story is good. It always matters if something is good. But it doesn't necessarily matter if something's bad. Because, well, I'm sorry, I should say something not being present isn't the same as something being bad. Dark Souls doesn't have a bad story. A bad story has to be present to be bad. A non-focus on a story doesn't mean that it's bad. A bad story would be like, I don't know, you're playing like Xenoblade Chronicles or whatever, or like a game where it's like 100 fucking hours of plot and all of it sucks ass. Like, that's in your face, you know? But Dark Souls doesn't have a bad story because it's not trying to have a story. That's not the focus. That's not a bad story, you know? Not focusing on the narrative as an artistic choice. Yeah, I don't know. You don't want every story to be like narratively driven or whatever. It's like a book written on, or like a book adaptation of I don't know, I would say Spirited Away would be inferior to the movie and could never be superior to it, because Spirited Away is defined in large part by the majesty of the medium in which it's presented. But you could make a literary adaptation of something like 12 Angry Men, I think, and easily match or possibly even exceed the quality of 12 Angry Men, the movie. I haven't seen the stage play, so I can't speak on that. But the movie. Not because the movie isn't good. The movie is excellent. But rather because the focus of 12 Angry Men, which is narrative and, dialogue heavy, it translates easily to book form, you know? It's not so much something that the audiovisual medium of a movie needs to capitalize on. 12 Angry Men so good? Yes, it is. What about The Hunger Games? Like many YA novels, The Hunger Games are somewhat artistically formless, and I feel exist equally well as movies, books, or anything else. Because they don't heavily focus on... They're meant to be normalized, because younger people kind of need a standardization, more normal way of engaging with art, you know? My major gripe with Vaush, he doesn't watch too many... Wine. If you have a point, make a point. If you don't, don't. What are you expecting from the Elden Ring movie? Nothing. Have you read the Hunger Game books? I ask again, what have I said that you disagree with? That's right. Or consider this, they disagreed with your bad take and think that it's not about the narrative? I don't know what you're referring to. You just said they're not addressing the point directly? I'm not sure what you mean. I think they just wondered if you had read them because they were a fan. Oh no, I haven't read them. I don't know if the Hunger Games is bad or not. I saw one of the movies, I think. All right, a lot of people being negative about them. I don't know. Movies are pretty bad? Maybe. All right. I'm sorry for besmirching the Hunger Games. That was unfair of me. I apologize. Thank you for apologizing. Okay, I apologize. That was my fault. I shouldn't have been presumptuous. Those stories like Pantheon better because they're not an adaptation? I don't know what you're referring to by Pantheon. Because they're not an adaptation, but their own unique piece. I do think that as a general rule, this isn't always the case, but as a general rule, anime are often better when they're anime original and not manga adaptations. Like, manga adaptations in anime often suffer from excruciating pacing because works and dialogue that work well in written format, where your eyes quickly pass over text, now have to suffer through incredibly prolonged fight scenes because every fight is punctuated by long, drawn-out dialogue. It's actually one of the reasons JJK translates very well to a high octane animation adaptation, which is because JJK was made with the intention. It was made to translate well, the fights in JJK for the most part. Not that there's no dialogue, but they integrate pretty well. And also good decision making from Mappa to properly incorporate them, keep the pacing up. AOT did a relatively good job of that as well. Yeah, AOT adapted pretty well. For sure, 100%. What do you think of Freerun Season 2? I thought it was like a nothing season. You mean the most recent one, right? In the Northern Plateau? It's a product of the adaptational struggles, I suppose. How do we get on this, man? It's my fault. I don't know why I say that when I know it's my fault. Can we look at the Crunchyroll Anime Award nominations? Are those out already? 6 days ago. I don't watch enough anime to have opinions on this. Anime of the Year. Apothecary Diary Season 2, Dandadan Season 2, Gachikura, My Hero Academia Final Season, Summer Hikaru Died. I haven't watched it. I don't know. I follow more video games than I do anime. I don't know enough to talk about this, man. Film of the Year. Infinity Castle, Rezark, Mononoke the Movie, Chapter 2, Ashes of Rage, Photos of Versailles, Scarlet. Yeah, I've seen maybe 1 or 2 in each of these categories. I can't really speak to it. The Summer Hikaru Died supposed to be really good. I've heard that. Yeah, I've heard that. Best anime main character. Cute, they have Momo and Okarun both up here. Okay. We need to get back on track. From Slop NPCs be like, tarnished. Although beautifully the Mimsy Broths outgrowth. And then gives you the most dogshit item imaginable. And I wouldn't want it any other way. Like to hear more about why you dislike current One Piece? I mean, I think that the story and the pacing and the paneling has taken a gigantic shit. Honestly, since the time skip arc, but especially since Egghead Island or whatever the fuck it's called. But the anime has always been shit. The pacing is just absolute dog water. There's no saving it. I know people care about it. I know people like it. But for what it's worth, Dragon Ball Z also sucks. The original Dragon Ball manga is pretty okay, but like Dragon Ball is the broader property is not good at all. It's just something carrying itself through momentum, you know? Like it's the anime equivalent of fucking 90 Day Fiancé or whatever. It's almost like bereft of artistic merit. Am I using bereft correctly? Yeah, deprived of, yeah, okay, just making sure. They're the same little Dragon Ball Z and anime only thing. I know, but I'm distinguishing between the before and after the time skip. But don't you like turning off your brain sometimes? I don't know what that means. Your brain is always active. If you mean like watching something because it's cool and not super like deep or thoughtful, yeah, that's fine. But like DBZ is bad. It's not like there's a difference between relaxing to some non-intellectually challenging media and just something being bad. You know? Anyway, I can't get into this. I have to read this shit.